Hello, I'm back. Following on from the MiG-242 battle, this video will detail the dogfight between the two examples of another fictional Mikhail project, the MiG-31 Firefox, as seen in the 1982 Clint Eastwood film based on the novel by Craig Thomas. When Western security services learn that the Soviet Union has developed the MiG-31 Firefox, a new hypersonic fighter aircraft which is completely invisible to radar and comes equipped with a fault-guided weapon system, they formulate a plan to preserve the balance of power by sending experienced combat pilot Mitchell Gant to steal one of the pre-production prototypes. Entering Russia in the guise of businessman Leon Sprague, Gant passes an aggressive baggage check at the airport. However, the KGB has got wind of the operation and, under the leadership of Colonel Kotarsky, are already looking for Gant, who accidentally kills an overzealous KGB officer during his escape from Moscow. It is only thanks to Pavel Opensky, part of a network of Soviet dissidents, that Gant gets away. Peter Baranovich, one of the scientists, briefs Gant on the operation of the aircraft, but warns him that there is a second prototype in the hangar that must be destroyed. The diversion will allow Gant to enter the hangar and escape with the first Firefox. Disguised as a captain of the GRU, the main directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, aka the main intelligence directorate, Gant reaches the airbase at Bilyassk, where the Firefox prototype is under heavy guard. Making use of his disguise, he orders the troops to dispatch an extra dog patrol to search the woods near the base. Upon entering the hangar, where the aircraft is stored, Gant encounters Colonel Kotarsky and, after informing the KGB officer of the additional dog patrol, heads to the locker room. Once inside, Gant knocks out Lieutenant Colonel Yuri Voskov, a Soviet pilot assigned to take the first prototype on a flight during the visit from the Soviet First Secretary, who to Kotarsky's annoyance is due to arrive hours earlier than expected. Furthermore, Kotarsky receives a phone call from his deputy in Moscow, who has identified Gant and shares details of the American's background, prompting both of them to realise what Gant has been sent to do. Just as Kotarsky orders the arrest of the dissidents and a ban on anyone approaching the aircraft, the fire alarm starts ringing. The scientists had triggered an explosive disruption in a failed attempt to seriously damage the second prototype. However, Gant uses the commotion to enter the Firefox and, despite the best efforts of Kotarsky and his men, manages to take off just as one of the colonel's men notices the arrival of the First Secretary's motorcade. After triggering a mass scramble by Russian aircraft, which is detected by staff at the control room coordinating the operation, Gant begins laying a false trail south via a near miss with an airliner and a radio conversation with the First Secretary. He then heads north along the eastern side of the Ural Mountains, only to alert the Soviets of his true course by exceeding Mach 1 close to an audio tracking station. After evading the Soviets' attempts to stop him by directing Russian missiles toward a Russian recon aircraft and using his jet wash to disrupt a missile cruiser, Gant barely reaches the Arctic ice pack and lands, making a rendezvous with a US submarine whose crew refuels and rearms the aircraft. Taking off from the ice before his pursuers arrive, Gant continues his journey home, unaware that Voskov, under the direct orders of the First Secretary, is flying the second prototype and has caught up. Using the element of surprise, Voskov fires missiles at Gant, who barely manages to evade the attack in time. Realising that he is being pursued by the second prototype, he uses his air brakes, forcing an overshoot by the Russian, who manages to evade a missile salvo from Gant, who quickly finds himself back in front. Following a low-level chase through a canyon, the pair climb, when Voskov fires, leading to Gant's aircraft entering a flat spin. After Gant recovers from this, by deploying his undercarriage to increase drag, Voskov flies alongside Gant and salutes his opponent before resuming his place behind his target. Reviewing his options, Gant remembers his last conversation with Baranovich, and by thinking in Russian, uses the rear defence system to deploy what seems to be a flare. This is swallowed by an intake on the second Firefox, which is destroyed in the resulting explosion, allowing Gant to escape. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and share. Also let me know what you think in the comments section. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and click the bell icon to be notified about new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.